Andrew, you're muted.
Good morning, friends. Now we're unmuted. Clean, clear. Can you hear
Yes.
me? Okay.
Yep.
I will give you the caveat now that we may have an occasional stray cat noise during this morning service, provided by a live cat with an independent streak. And this is for all of you who are lamenting the lingering of winter. Winter's face hangs on the moon. Its tranquil sea so far from June. Fox prints in the fresh snowfall. Windows frosted, blue jays call. The light is lasting longer. Shadows slowly shorten in my room. The cold is taking wing. The snow surrendering. And winter will soon be colors muted in a chill, and some might call these bitter pills. I've stopped to take this freeze frame view of how that ice broke me and you. The light is lasting longer. Shadows slowly shorten in my room. The cold is taking wing. The snow surrendering. Winter will soon be slowly shorten in my room. The cold is taking wing. The snow surrendering. Winter will soon be leaving. Winter will soon be
Good morning, and welcome to the virtual Sunday service of the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Elkhart. We are a welcoming community, encouraging religious freedom, nurturing individual, spiritual, and ethical growth, celebrating diversity, promoting a just and sustainable world. My name is Ryan Gill, and I'm a member of the board of this congregation. Welcome to you all, and thank you for tuning in today.
Here in Elkhart, Indiana, we reside on the original indigenous lands of the Potawatomi and the Miami. We ring the gong 3 times. Once for those who came before us and made a place for us. Once for those who are here now. And once for those who will come after us and build on the dream. The chalice lighting today is by Maureen Killeran. As we weather the winds of change, may we have wisdom to cherish the moments of stillness. As we recollect times of challenge and of pain, may we remember also the graceful blessings of our lives. As we look to the future unknowns, may we have the boldness to trust that there is unimagined good yet to come.
Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. To dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. This is our covenant.
It's now time for our morning offering. Each week, UUFE shares its plate collections, 50% with a local agency whose values we both share. This week, our offering will be shared with the GLBT Resource Center. Your pledges or collections can be sent to the church or given online at uufe.square.space. It's now time for our first hymn. It's number 159. This is my song. Our accompanist is Lizzie French.
Good morning, friends. It is a pleasure and a privilege to be with you live and in person this morning from Redbud and Bluebell strewn Virginia. From my living room, I bring you signs of spring and a basket full of hope. I bring even the very first lilac blossom that I clipped off of my bush this morning. So I can tell you it is coming. You have my word on it. What a morning it is to be alive. Welcome back to my Make a Living Room. In our faith community, some of our Sunday morning messages are universal, for we are a people of intention turned towards action in our wider world. This morning is perhaps just the opposite. Deeply personal, especially for you, about self-care and awareness and nurture, and above all, balance. It is fortuitous timing that Reverend Amy asked for this particular theme, Tending a Spiritual Garden, subtitled An Artist's Insight into Daily Practice. I'm certainly no master or expert. I'm just a guy who tries lots of things, sort of like someone who cooks and keeps tweaking recipes, and every now and then saying, I like that pretty well, but it would be even better with a little more tomato paste, perhaps. But I have just returned from a self-imposed retreat in the Virginia mountains for a few days. A gift that I have never before given myself. A few days away from the modern world by myself to recharge, reset, rekindle, and repurpose. I've never been in this place before, like the rest of the world. It has been a year of having my artistic career essentially evaporate, and at best, an uncertain future lies ahead with an uncertain timeline. I'm home, monitoring an 8th grader going to virtual school, and both of us doing the same thing mostly, day after day, after day, after Blur's day, after Blur's day. Quarantining to keep each other safe, to keep us safe, doing our best to make do and wondering what and when the new world will happen. My family sent me off on my sojourn with their blessings and a few small tidbits, and I came home still completely overhauling this particular message and my peculiar practice. In my old life, as I like to call it, the two comments that I heard most of all about being a performing artist: how lucky I am and how great it must be, and golly, that must be really hard. Yes, especially now. Thankfully, I've learned a couple of things, and I'm still learning. And here is a big surprise that you might perhaps not have thought of. Each and every one of us is creative. Not just artists, cooks, gardeners, architects, custodians from every walk of life, every life we live. Creativity equals imagination plus experience plus medium. For a songwriter, like most other art forms, it involves in some way translating our personal experience into something universal, which then the listener converts back into something uniquely personal to them. Each of us, even twins, are all blessed with our own unique gifts of perspective, ability, analysis, emotion, and reflection on those experiences. So, how do we take care of this new superpower that we've suddenly discovered, especially now? One doesn't have to be a creative professional in the modern sense of the world to actively balance the have-tos and must-dos with me time. A side note, too. The business of creativity is usually all about creatively doing business and hardly ever having the time or energy left to create the things that got you into the business of creativity in the first place. In my old life, that balance was kind of about imposing routine on a life that's anything but, and how to keep routine from overwhelming creativity. Each of us does require time for grounding, time for experiencing, and for thinking and imagining and daydreaming. For me, those are daily walks on our gravel roads, tending to my overly weedy gardens, improvising in the kitchen, taking a look around at the beauty of the world in whatever season it is, practicing the balance of self-care, the balance of acknowledgement, forgiveness, and aspiration. I'm still learning, but I'm optimistic. When I grow up, I want to be an old man, retire to the back roads, live closer to the land, set out on my front porch and wave a friendly hand when they stop to ask directions, make sure they understand. When youth's used up and my motor's slowing down, I will let the grass grow longer, take my time in town, and like my father's father, I will tinker with my hands. When I grow up, I'll be an old man, if I'm lucky. Set out to go fishing, forget my pole at home, and while I'm at it, wait to leave till the sun gets warm. I'll still bring home great fish stories, they'll still be true to form, and the fish will taste as good as they ever did before. When youth's used up and my motor's slowing down, I will let the grass grow longer, take my time in town, and like my father's father, I will tinker with my hands. When I grow up, I'll be an old man. Though I am still burdened with impatience of youth, always moving toward the fast lane, always searching for the truth, I aspire to the day I turn to the act of letting go of everything that I must learn, to everything I'm known. They say my eyesight's failing and my hearing's none too good. I guess I have 'em where I want them, guessing what I've understood. I'll be bouncing grandchildren on bony bended knee and sit and talk for hours without saying anything. When youth's used up and my motor's slowing down, I will let the grass grow longer, take my time in town, and like my father's father, I will tinker with my hands. When I grow up, I'll be an old man. When I grow up, I'll be an old man. In many ways, I suppose I walk the path of a spiritual omnivore. We UUs do eat at a lot of different tables, and I am ever learning and adapting to the challenges of times, the vagaries of age, and some things that are not so easily digested anymore. I am grateful when some delicious new morsel appears in front of me, a little pearl of wisdom, a shiny nugget of aha moment. Artists, we're all tormented to varying degrees by fear of failure, imposter syndrome, and a cast of other self-doubts. Giving oneself permission to fail, spectacularly if necessary, is what gives us the freedom to soar and explore. But putting that into practice by oneself is kind of hard sometimes. My life is lived in this Venn diagram of 3 overlapping circles: create, teach, learn. I find it easy to encourage my students, to help them to break down their challenges and reminding them of their progress and accomplishments. So one of those spiritual self-care things I do is practice gratitude towards mentors and inspirations alike. Man rolled into town one day in a beat-up Chevrolet. Said, "My name is Luther Jones and I came here to play." He pulled a case out of his trunk and tuned up where he sat. And while he sang, his fingers danced like fireworks on the frets, 'cause he's a guitar man. Wood and steel strings ringing, guitar man. Love that song you're singing, guitar man. I wanna know what you know. Would you play us one more tune before it's time to go? He finger-styled a cannonball, then flat-picked soldier's joy. Slid from Robert Johnson's blues right into Red-Haired Boy. A crowd of people gathered around, the bills filled up his case. And now and then he'd nod his thanks, a smile upon his face, 'cause he's a guitar man. Wood and steel strings ringing, guitar man. Love that song you're singing, guitar man. I wanna know what you know. Would you play us one more tune before it's time to go? My Martins kept me company on almost 1,000,000 miles. From town to town and stage to stage, kept going by your smiles. But times are tough all over, yet somehow we still get by. And check your troubles at the door, 'cause now it's time to fly like that guitar man. Wood and steel strings ringing, guitar man. Love that song you're singing, guitar man. I wanna know what you know. Would you play us one more tune before it's time to go? Hey, guitar man. Wood and steel strings ringing, guitar man. I love that song you're singing, guitar man. I wanna know what you know. Would you play us one more tune before it's time to go? Our spiritual garden is quite a complex ecosystem, isn't it? Just like those things we might try to coax into life in a cold frame or a window pot. We need the energy, water, nutrients, and yes, a bit of pruning and weeding around the edges of things that unnecessarily unbalance us. Letting go of old shames and regrets, rewarding ourselves for making it through a damn pandemic, forgiving ourselves for not knowing what to do next, understanding that all of it is important to who each of us are. Understanding what's important to who I am means family, blood and chosen, my various communities, sense of place, the contributions of my ancestors. I'm a collector, a keeper, and a broadcaster of stories. And each of us hopes and aspires to leave something lasting of ourselves in this world when we go. To be remembered, to have done something, to have made something beautiful or not, but to have made some contribution to this human condition that might stand and last after we ourselves no longer do. Maybe those of us who are considered artists, quote unquote, might burn a bit more passionately about that lasting accomplishment, and maybe, just maybe, we let it impose and impair our balance in the now with the hope of the beyond. Balancing is hard work, and equilibrium is at best temporary. Sometimes the work is simply to rein in the relentless self-demands to produce and meet deadlines and goals, while other times it is simply to convince myself that I am enough and I am worthy of the most basic human things, most of all, love. And in this moment, I am okay. Please enjoy that equilibrium, fleeting though it may be when it happens. Give yourself permission to indulge in the thing that's in front of you now and again with joy and verve. You will be called to the things that need rebalancing soon enough. The cat comes along to emphasize the point. my time comes, don't shed a tear. When my time comes, don't shed a tear. I got all I need, and it's beautiful here. When my time comes, raise your voice and sing. When my time comes, raise your voice and sing. Sounds just like angels when a joyful noise rings. When my time comes, hold out your hand. When my time comes, hold out your hand. Don't you worry about me, lift up your fellow man and woman too. My time comes, yeah, ring them bells. When my time comes, ring them bells. Till we meet again, fare thee well. Thank you so much for making me welcome this morning, friends. Namaste.
Our closing hymn is number 108, My Life Flows On in Endless Song. Again, our accompanist is Lizzie French.
Our closing words this morning come from the Reverend Christian Schmidt, a fellow Unitarian, a prayer for hard times. Spirit of life and love, be with us in this time, as people suffer, as parents grieve, as violence rages. Be with us who feel the pain of loss, who feel anger at injustice. Be with the oppressed and change the heart of the oppressor, for we know that both are joined in their humanity, no matter how often we forget it. Help us remember the hope we had, the hope we have, and the hope we will have. Help us remember joy in the midst of sadness, success in the midst of challenge, and good in the midst of bad. Help us to be better people, to work for better things, to create a better world, and to take good care of our own good selves too. Amen, friends. Blessed be.